Hello there. We are now October 6th through October 12th. There's no CUNY, no City Tech on the 12th because we're celebrating the day that an Italian came to these shores and brought slavery and pestilence to the native population. Why not? But it doesn't matter for us because we're asynchronous anyway. There will be things due at the end of the day on the 12th, but that's life. So this is what we're doing. We've already pretty much finished at the digital literacy narratives. You guys should be finished. I'm working on notes, which will be posted pretty soon. And my notes, along with the feedback you get from the other people in your group, will help you with revisions, which we'll get started on pretty soon. But those revisions aren't due till the end of the term. Okay, so we're just going to put that aside, and we're going to concentrate on Unit 2. So you've already gotten started in Unit 2 by doing the discussion about research and Baldwin, the little piece from Baldwin, and why we ask questions rather than answers. And there's been some pretty interesting threads already getting started. So go check them out. Again, you find all that stuff under here under tags. And the people who have posted already have got these are new. These have been up for a few days, and so there's a couple of things that have been going on there. So check those out. So we've gotten started thinking about what research means. And remember, research, the whole point of this is that research starts with questions and not with answers. You're not trying to prove a point, you're trying to learn more about it. You walk into that conversation, into that party, see what all these people are saying, what their position is, so you can really get a good handle on it and become almost like, the expert on it. And then you can decide how you're going to craft your own response, which is what Unit 3 is all about. Except crafting your response in this class means creating an interactive fiction game about the issue. So that's where we are. So let me pull up the weekly schedule. This is a new one, those of you who downloaded before today, and I am doing this on Monday at about 2:40 on the 5th. It's changed a little bit, not much, but just a little. Okay, so you can go back and download a new one or check it back out. This is sort of an overview, just what I was talking about. You're going to be creating a group annotated bibliography. You will not be graded as a group. What I'm doing is setting up a research support system, kind of like a study group if you take a math class or you're doing programming or something. That's kind of what this is going to be, to help each other with these source analyses, maybe finding some other sources, that kind of stuff. All right, so where we're going to start is with these 4 issues. And you can go off in all kinds of directions from them, but we're going to be based them on these 4. This first one, do video game makers have a responsibility to society about what they put in those games, yes or no? Are video games, are they not representing other cultures well when they adapt them to American audiences? In other words, if you've got a JRPG and they've changed the voices and some of the language and some of the dialogue, have they misrepresented the Japanese culture just to make it more palatable to an American audience? And what does that do? That's called localization. It's a big issue. This one is all about representation. And it's not just, all women are either Lara Croft or they're pitiful, Princess Peach, or that black guys are always the scary dude, because why not? Or LGBTQ people are stereotyped in their own way. Although those things are valid and certainly worth looking at. That's something that interests me in particular. But it's also about what we're now calling toxic masculinity, which is how boys are supposed to be tough, gun-wielding badasses, pardon my language. And if they're not, then there's something wrong with them. And how do video games perpetuate that? And is that still true? Or about creating a female or LGBTQ character because we're supposed to, it's called tokenism, but they might as well just have been a white, straight male based on the way they act. Okay, so that's what all this is about, is representations. Enormous issue. You can go off in whatever direction you want to. These are also very big issues. This last one is not about representation on the screen, but about people in the business. It's all been male. And it started off as women in computing. If you know any of your history of computing, you know that Hidden Figures was the real deal. Ada Lovelace, those people. If you don't know who they are, you should look them up. But is it changing, and how? So you have an opportunity with this last one to talk about the industry in general and the place of of women and of gender and culture and all that kind of stuff within that industry itself. And so those are the four things, four areas. So they're all really short, popular articles. So after you read them, you post it. Create a new post on Open Lab, and here's the primary response. Right? Answer these three things. Talk about those three things. It focuses around this question: does the gaming industry or computing industry in general have a responsibility to society, and why or why not? What do you think? And then which area interests you the most and why? Right, so here's the title: responsibility, your name, category, unit 2, tag responsibility. Secondary response, like people are doing online already, 100 words long. And then I've added this. These are called peeps. I always do that this time of the term. This is little wows, or that's cool, or I didn't know that. So little short little responses that kind of keep the conversation going. So feel free to use these as much as you want. But remember that your primary responsibility is to the primary and secondary responses. Okay, so primary responses due on Friday, secondary responses due next Monday night. Now, once you get through all that and you've decided what area you're interested in, you go over to our Google Drive and then in the folder, and I'll show you what to do here. So here it is, Unit 2. Now you see I've set up folders based on those four articles, right? And then whatever you're interested in, like social responsibility, you'll see that I've created a Google Doc called Annotated Bibliography. Like I said, they may end up being huge. I mean, like enormous, because everybody's going to put all their source analyses, all four of them, on here. But right now, what you're going to do, after you've done the discussion post, is come over here to introductions and put your name, enter, maybe. It's not going to let me, for reasons that are unknown to me. But you should be able to put your, and I don't know why it's not doing it. I'm going to have to go fix it. Nothing's working, and I don't have any idea why not. My computer has lost its mind. Anyway, under introductions, just type your name and what you're interested in, what area you're interested in, and what do you want to learn more about. This is a way to kind of get to know each other, kind of to set up what the different parameters are, the different distinctions, the different areas you're interested in, so that when you get around to helping each other, you kind of know where people are coming from. So again, it's just a good way to get the group going, get the group dynamic. You guys ought to know each other really well by now anyway, since this is a learning community. But this part of the learning community at this point in this course will help you get your research done in the way that you want to get it done. Right? So that's what that is all about. So get that introduction. And then once you do that, okay, go start looking at your sources. And remember, you'll have to have 4. Each one has to be in a different genre. I've had people do source analysis on poetry before, so, whatever. And remember, there's an example on the assignment sheet, although we're not really going to get to this till next week. But you can just start looking up and start finding things. This is an introduction to the City Tech Library. You don't have to do anything with this, but see if I can get it to go. Nothing is working today, but this is what it looks like. And it's really helpful to tell you how to get into the library, how to search for things using key terms, right? How to choose databases. If you're looking for something in like a science and tech database, how to find the right database to look up an article. Okay, so this is really, really helpful stuff. So again, I didn't make an assignment to go along with it, but it's very useful information. And then the final thing on here is I set up a brief chronology of the week, specifically when things are due or not. The video, the optional Q&A on Tuesday the 6th. The primary response is due Friday. The secondary response is due on Sunday, and as well as the little intro paragraph about yourself in the Google Drive, in that Google Doc. Again, this is an individual project. Ultimately, it's not. I gotta find it. It's not about a group thing. Let me go back over to and get there. Keep going backwards. I love breadcrumbs. So if you look here, all the way down at the bottom, pick your topic, which is where we are, how to do the bibliography, a little bit about how to do the source analysis. Again, we'll come back to that next week. An example from my summer class. And at the very end, you're going to do an individual report. Now, one of the reasons I'm having you guys look at other people's stuff, or have a whole bunch of people make this annotated bibliography together, is that, like I said, you might find somebody who brought in something you thought was really cool that you hadn't thought about before, and you may want to mention it in here. I was going in this direction, and then, like I said, Mark put something up, and I thought that was fascinating, and so, made me think about stuff a little bit different. So that's where we're going. This is where the grade comes from. That and the fact that you're posting stuff. Okay, so that's what's up, and that's where we are. And I will sign off and put this up, and I will see you on Tuesday the 6th at noon or at 6:30 if you want to come. Totally optional. If not, send me a message on Slack, and I'll give you some help. Okay, see you soon. Bye.